Good afternoon, 18th of April, 2012. I want to do a short talk today on something I get asked about a lot, and that is, should I join a class action? We have a lot of clients who come in and they have gotten a notice in the mail that they are potentially a member of a class and they want to know if they should join. Of course, the notice in the mail doesn't always tell them what they're going to get out of the class action. It just gives them an idea that they're a member of the class, and it gives them a little procedure for opting out of the class. And first of all, just as an educational step, when you get one of those notices, there is always a specific address or a specific person that you contact to opt out of the class, and you have to do it in writing. You can't just call someone and say, I'd like to opt out of the class. You have to send a letter. I would say send it certified mail, keep a copy. In general, let me just go over what I think are the times that you stay in a class action, the times you get out as a consumer. I think, contrary to what you hear on certain broadcasting networks, I think class actions are very important, and I'll tell you why. The American financial industry and the international financial industry and large corporations, they figured out that they can make extra money by sort of spreading the wrongdoing, like $5 and $10 at a time, over many different people. So, for instance, they figure out a way to charge people an extra $2.50, $5, whatever. Doesn't seem like a lot of money. Certainly not enough money to go to court for. But it's not money that actually belongs to them. It's money that they're ripping off from consumers. But if they spread it over 15 million people, they just made a nice little profit. And certainly a class action is the only real viable way to address that type of situation. There's many other types of situations where class actions are the only way to prove the point. Anyone who's done any civil rights litigation, any racial discrimination litigation, a lot of consumer fraud type of litigation, they'll tell you that there was no real movement to settle these cases or to try to take these cases seriously when they were being brought as individual actions, but only when they were brought as class actions, then industry started taking a good look at them, because once again they were doing it to a lot of people. But when the people were divided up into individual actions, the individual actions generally were not worth too much, or lawyers were not willing to take them because they were too difficult. So there definitely is a purpose and a proper function of a class action in the society. When large corporations are ripping off lots and lots and lots of consumers for smaller amounts of money, then the class action is the correct legal vehicle to handle that situation. And if you are a victim of that type of situation, the class action is best. If a bank, has ripped you off for, let's say, $17, you're not going to go down to court, to try to get it back. But a class action attorney will frequently file a class action. You will become a member of the class, even by notice. You'll receive a notice of the class administrator, and you have a chance to become a part of the class. You may not get the full $17 back, but you'll get some part of it back, and the attorneys will obviously get paid for the work. I think it's worthwhile. When I see situations where a bank has overcharged me, $50 or $100 or $250, running down to court, the amount of time and everything that it would take for me to get it back, the amount of trouble, generally it's just better to be a part of the class action. I have gotten, checks, plenty of them, in class action cases where I've become a member of the class. Now, where I tell consumers not to become a member of the class and to opt out of the class, if you have an individual action, like let's say a good, solid individual action, it could be a lemon law claim, it could be a personal injury claim, it could be something which is substantial, where there's a lot of money involved to you. I mean, where your recovery is not, $50 or, $75 or something like that, but where the recovery to you is potentially quite substantial. A serious injury, a seriously defective car, let's say a credit reporting company, a credit reporting bureau, or one of the credit card companies really damages your credit. In that situation, I think you need to consult with an attorney about pursuing an individual action before you join the class. Don't get lazy. A few years ago, I will tell you, we had a client who had an absolutely fantastic lemon law claim against Mercedes-Benz. and he had a $100,000 car. And had we pursued it as an individual action, I'm confident that we would have gotten, the $100,000 for him, and plus my attorney's fees. It would have been a successful case. However, he was not really paying attention to his mail. There was a class action on the type of defect that his car had, which was filed by one of these class action firms in New York. And, the class action firm settled it for everyone to get, like a $10 coupon towards the purchase of the next Mercedes-Benz vehicle. It was a total ripoff. He didn't even know about it. He came to me. He had a very good lemon law claim. We were already ready to pursue it as an individual action. And then, the defense attorneys from Mercedes called me and showed me with documents that he was a part of the class, and therefore he could not pursue this lemon law action. So, here's an example where a guy had a very, very valid and very, very viable individual action, and he lost it because he wasn't paying attention to what was going on in the class action. If you get, if you have a situation where you have like a more serious problem to you that's more serious to you, you really need to consult with an attorney. Sometimes, even though you have a more serious action that's more serious to you, it may still be better to go with a class action under certain circumstances. But an attorney who's familiar with class actions and also familiar with individual actions is going to be able to give you that advice. But, I would say, again, if it's some type of action where, you've lost $20 because, one of the mailing companies has been secretly overcharging you a certain amount, for a certain period of months, and you've lost some money, running down to court for that $20 is really not worth your time. And in that situation, it's better to be part of the class. But if it's a matter where you have suffered substantial damages and where you, or substantial injury, then I think that you need to take a good long look at pursuing an individual action. And I think the way to do it, or the way to look at it, is to talk to an attorney about whether you have an individual action or whether it would be part of the class. Anyway, thanks very much. Look forward to talking to you again soon.